I'm a printmaker, so I've looked at a lot of like Japanese woodcuts and Chinese printmaking also, and Chinese landscape became kind of important as I started working more with the landscape. I've always enjoyed like a good deal of negative space. That's sort of an important element to me, you know, in making the work, and a lot of Asian art sometimes has a spaciousness. So that's definitely an influence in terms of, like I said, negative space and like economy of forms. As far as installation, I call this mini installation. Whenever things like this tiny little, there's a tiny little ladder over there. I really enjoy playing with the viewer's experience of the work in terms of you kind of want to enter into the piece and get lost in the piece, but when you say you have a diptych and you create a gap between those two pieces, then the viewer can't ignore the fact that they're actually two pieces of paper hanging on the wall. So I kind of like jarring myself and hopefully viewers in and out of reality, you know, and image. So for instance, in this piece, the strings, I think that's how I started making objects come off of the page. I silk screened strings. I used actual thread to burn some screens, and then I printed those lines made from thread onto the paper, and they look just like thread laying on the paper. And so because it kind of seemed like a funny, again, sort of a funny jarring to pin actual thread over top of those silk screen threads, you know, that's sort of like back and forth, is it real, is it not real?
I kind of started thinking about Helen Frankenthaler, and she just passed away this year, so I wanted to kind of pay homage to her. She kind of used like water as a start for a lot of her paintings, and she really loved being near the water and swimming, and like most people, just sitting by water. And so I also work at a plant store, so I spend most of my day watering, and so it kind of tied in with using the ink blobs with automatism and using the water as a way to weave them together. So then I go back in and kind of add what I see on top of it. It doesn't have to be surrealism as in like what you see in the blobs, but that's kind of where I start from. All of us hadn't really seen each other's work before this show, and when we started putting it up, it was like, oh my gosh, like it was kind of weird almost, like the cohesiveness of like even like the colors and like even little things like strings, like me and Deborah share that, and like the rocks, and like I don't know, it's really like a weird kind of zeitgeist almost.